Chris Grier has done it again. The Miami Dolphins have traded for Jalen Ramsey. The full trade is right here. The Dolphins receive Jalen Ramsey, and the Los Angeles Rams receive Hunter Long and a 2023 third-round pick, which is the one that we got from the Patriots in the Devontae Parker trade, basically meaning that we just traded Devontae Parker for all-pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey. This one kind of came out of nowhere. We got some news a couple weeks ago that the Rams were expected to move on from Jalen Ramsey, but I didn't really expect the Dolphins to be in the mix to trade for him because of his contract and all the money that he's making. But I was obviously proven wrong, and now you're putting him in a defense with Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer, and in the secondary with Xavier Howard and Javon Holland. And on top of all of that, new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, who's going to have a lot of fun with this defense. I thought that last offseason started off pretty well, trading for one of the best receivers in the league in Tyreek Hill. And now we're starting this one off trading for one of, if not the best, cornerbacks in the NFL in Jalen Ramsey. Practice is going to be really fun this year. Those public training camps are going to be a lot of fun, especially those one-on-one drills with Tua throwing a deep ball to Tyreek Hill. I know that people are going to be overreacting because if Ramsey picks Tua off, everyone's going to be like, oh, Tua's getting picked off in practice already. But if Tyreek Hill blows past Jalen Ramsey, it's going to be like, oh, Ramsey's washed. So you know that people are going to find a way to hate on the Dolphins either way. I'm hoping that it's kind of a 50-50 ball, every single time. But the Dolphins are still, just want to throw this out there really quickly, the Dolphins still have some draft picks. There's still a second, a third, a sixth, and a seventh. And with those first two picks in the second and third round, I'm guessing that the Dolphins are going to be targeting a linebacker or a tight end. But at the tight end position, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins focused more on free agency, considering that Hunter Long was the guy that they drafted in the third round just a couple years ago. And, now he's being traded. Only one catch in 2 years is not something that we were looking forward to. So Dalton Schultz is a guy to keep your eye on because he's a free agent with the Cowboys tagging only Tony Pollard. So, that would definitely be a huge get for the Dolphins. But, of course, it's gonna cost a lot of money. So we'll see what they can do. Now, getting Jalen Ramsey too, we did guarantee his next 2 years of his contract. So I think only around $10 million right now in cap space. So maybe if we can restructure maybe either his contract or like a guy like Emmanuel Ogbah, I don't think we're going to have much money in free agency. So we'll see what we can do. But moving on to the next topic, exactly what I talked about in yesterday's video, the Dolphins Super Bowl window is now. At least this year and next year is probably the 2-year window that we need to focus on while Tua is still on that kind of a cheap money deal. The star power on this team is great. I'm going to throw Tua in that conversation. You still have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the receiver side on offense. And on defense now, Javon Holland and Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey in that secondary is absolutely insane. Potentially Jordan Poyer. We'll see what happens this week as free agency opens up in just 3 days. But Javon Holland, all three of those guys kind of had down years. Javon Holland didn't have a down year, but I expected him to take a bigger jump than he really did. Xavier Howard had a crazy down year, and Jalen Ramsey's down year was he's so good that his down year put him from the best corner in the league to the third best corner in the league, according to PFF in his grade. But I do expect both of them to take a jump, especially with this new Vic Fangio defense. And Jalen Ramsey ran this type of scheme in LA with Vic Fangio's defense. So I'm really looking forward to this season. Now, there's still a lot of things that the Dolphins need to do this offseason, obviously starting with free agency just in a couple days. Backup quarterback is a need. We have no running backs on the roster other than Salvon Ahmed, who we just re-signed a couple days ago. We still need to re-sign guys like Trent Sherfield, the River Craycraft potentially, tight end, of course, right tackle. Are you going to keep Austin Jackson there, left guard? Are you going to keep Liam Eichenberg there? And on the defensive side, linebacker is really the only need. And at the other safety spot across from Javon Holland, is Brandon Jones really going to be that guy? Because I think that Vic Fangio can sneak him in his scheme as potentially a part-time blitzer. But I don't know if I feel very comfortable with him being the full-time second safety next to Holland. So we'll see what they do with that. Kicker is maybe something they want to take a look at because Jason Sanders, he was kind of better in the past couple weeks of the season and the last weeks of the season. But you may want to bring in some competition. Thomas Morstead still needs to be re-signed. And the cornerback, too, I'm not going to say the cornerback is completely a position that's fully filled. I know you have Xavier Howard on one side and Jalen Ramsey on the other, and you also have Kader Kohu. Trill Williams is coming back from an injury. Nick Needham is also coming back from an injury, but are you going to re-sign him and take the risk that he's not 100% from his injury? Or they could potentially go after a veteran corner who maybe Vic Fangio is already familiar with. Cornerback 4 isn't really a position that you want to be too worried about, but with the Dolphins, we saw Justin Bethel start games for us last season. So anything is really possible with this team. But yeah, free agency starts in just a couple of days. The videos are going to keep on coming. Probably a recap of every single day because I'm sure the Dolphins, there's going to be some type of news. At least if it's not the Dolphins, maybe I'll probably make a video about some other stuff going on in the NFL. But either way, that'll wrap up. Great day as the Miami Dolphins make a blockbuster trade for Jalen Ramsey, ramping up the defense before the season even officially starts, which is on Wednesday. But that'll wrap up. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a great day. Peace.